First though, for months now, students at one of Islamabad's most radical mosques have been on a campaign to Talibanise Pakistan. In other words, turn it into a state that enforces the strictest version of Islam as the country's law. The students have defied both the police and government authorities. Along the way, they've adopted violent vigilante tactics, including kidnapping and torture, and have even set up their own Sharia courts, with mullahs performing the role of judge and jury.
These militant young girls from a religious school in the heart of the capital, Islamabad, say they're doing God's work. Their mission is to turn back the clock, Taliban style. Declaring that Pakistan must abide by the principles of Sharia, the extreme interpretation of Islamic law, and in open defiance of the government, these girls have become vigilantes, taking the law into their own hands.
This is the Red Mosque and its madrasa. From here, in scenes never before witnessed anywhere in the Muslim world, burqa-clad girls poured out of the Red Mosque. Armed with their long canes, over a period of 6 months, they unleashed a campaign of fear and intimidation to assert Sharia law. Girls occupied the neighbouring children's library.
In the name of the Quran, in the name of Islam, they have decided to lay down their lives.
In a moral crusade, the militant students threatened policemen and raided local video stores. Large piles of confiscated videos were publicly destroyed. Next, they kidnapped a brothel madam and forced her to apologize in front of the cameras.
Will they actually go to the extent of blowing themselves up, sacrificing themselves or the children standing behind them?
हम सब तैयार हैं यहाँ तक कि अगर इस दीन के लिए हमें अपनी जानी देनी पड़ी हम उसके लिए भी तैयार हैं इंशाल्लाह.
Even the children standing behind them?
ये बच्चे भी तैयार हैं इस्लाम के लिए जाने देने के लिए.
बिल्कुल तैयार हैं.
Ignoring the government, the Red Mosque set up its own Sharia court and went looking for people to put before it. The government has been unable to defuse the situation. Most Pakistanis were surprised that the government didn't send in its special forces to stop the illegal occupation. Emboldened, many of the students took to Islamabad's streets.
These people are sitting in the heart of Islamabad, and obviously by occupying a children's library they are challenging the right of the government. But we are concerned that there are arms in the mosque, there are militants who are in the mosque. If the government raids the mosque or uses whatever means it has to flush the people out, there is going to be a reaction and we will find some body bags over there.
It's now more than 4 months since the girls at the Red Mosque began their standoff with the government, and there's no sign of a peaceful resolution. In fact, just last week there was another skirmish with authorities when the girls abducted 4 policemen who were patrolling outside. But some well-known politicians in Pakistan, like former cricketer Imran Khan, refuse to take the Red Mosque girls seriously. He believes that they're simply a media sideshow, which the government is keen to keep alive to promote the fear of religious extremists taking over Pakistan.
I mean, how can a couple of 100 women, threaten a whole country of 160 million people? It's just the biggest joke going on. This is General Musharraf showing the Taliban cross to the American Dracula. You know, it's to scare the Americans that, listen, if you don't do anything, if you don't help me, I'm your man around here, this place will be swamped by these Taliban-type religious extremists.
बहादुरी दलेरी की बात नहीं है, करने को तो बहुत कुछ कर सकते हैं। 3000 ख़वातीन हैं उधर, डंडे लेकर, ये जेब भी नहीं देता मेरे ख्याल में ख़वातीन को, जो हो रहा है वहाँ। अंदर वो दूसरी तरफ लाल मस्जिद में 2-2.5 हज़ार लोग हैं। अटैक कर सकते हैं, कहीं ये ना हो जाए कि ख़वातीन भी मारी जाएं और मस्जिद को भी डैमेज हो। कैसे करें? सोचना है। तो ये बात नहीं है कि हुकूमत कर नहीं सकती है या मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता हूं। बहुत कुछ हो सकता है, लेकिन आदमी सोचता है क्या ख़वातीन को मारना शुरू करें, मस्जिद को नुकसान पहुंचाएं, क्या करें? आप लोगों से मेरी गुजारिश यही है, आप खुल के आगे आए। अपनी बहनों से गुजारिश है, और उनको कहीं कर क्या रहे हैं आप, क्या सिलसिला है? और वही अपनी व्यूज दूसरे पे मुसल्लत करना जबरदस्ती। सही इस्लाम, उसकी रूह, उसकी स्पिरिट को हमने छोड़ दिया है। हकूकुल्लाह पे पूरा जोर है, हकूकुल इबाद टोटली नजरअंदाज। हम ऐसे तरक्की नहीं कर सकते। आई डोंट थिंक सो। हम आगे नहीं जा सकते इस तरीके से, ये रास्ता नहीं है आगे जाने का। पाकिस्तान को अगर आगे जाना है और हमारी आगे आने वाली नस्लों को आगे जाना है, ये रास्ता नहीं, ये रास्ता ज़वाल का रास्ता है।
I travelled to Pakistan to meet the madrasa leaders and their students to find out what they believed in and why they were directly challenging the Pakistani state. I was the last journalist inside the compound. I arrive at the Red Mosque to spend 5 days with its leaders and their female students. I discover that they've just kidnapped 9 Chinese women from a massage parlour. Its leaders justify their actions to the press.
According to Islamic Sharia, and Islam says when you see some kind of wrongdoings, you stop it by hands. So the students stopped.
It was only after his father's assassination in 1998 that he became radicalized and supported Al-Qaeda and the Taliban. He has now been linked with banned militant groups, and it has also been suggested he was involved in one of the attempts on President Musharraf's life.
It was in 1998, and just a few months back he had met Osama bin Laden, and I also met.
Did you?
Yeah, in Kandahar we met.
When your father came away from that meeting, what was his mood? I mean, what was his...
Yeah, when he came back in his first time in Jummah sermon.
The first Friday sermon.
He narrated all this story and how he met him, and he said that I'm convinced. I think that whatever he's saying, he's right.
And he wanted to support him, I mean, in Pakistan.
In Pakistan, he wanted to support,
Bin Laden, yeah.
Yeah. He said that at least I'm going to support him.
The female students of the Red Mosque have gained a fearsome reputation as a result of their vigilante actions on the streets. Tension between the madrasa and the government has been increasing over the last 6 months.
If they try to suppress us, then it can become, I mean, a chaotic, and it can, I mean, in that way, it can become violent, and then we cannot guarantee that what kind of, I mean, whosoever have the power to, he will grab it. It can be Taliban, it can be whatever you name them, they will come.
It's clear something is brewing. I hear that some male students clashed with police and took their guns. As a result of that action, a gun battle has begun. As the police dive for cover, the Punjab elite force slip into new positions. Hello, Ghazi, it's Raghi. Okay, good, but call us back if you can. Okay, all right. He said he can't talk to us. So there's a lot of tension, and there was a lot of people talking behind him. Is that with such a huge amount of people here, should anything just suddenly arise out of nowhere, and it could easily happen, people will be caught right in the middle of a crossfire situation. More male students have arrived from their nearby madrasa to help protect the Red Mosque. The troops fire back, and there is an increasing amount of tear gas in the air in an attempt to disperse the students. See, some of the students are rushing towards the military positions and stoning them. Okay, let's go. I think let's go. Day 2 of the siege. I find all roads leading to the Red Mosque are cordoned off and a curfew imposed around it. Well, I mean, almost immediately from when we arrived, a few people started trickling out of the madrasa, and it's become quite a steady flow, all different age groups and women as well. And some government officials were briefing us saying, look, it's a very delicate situation, we're trying to encourage them to come out. And soldiers are at pains to explain to the students that nothing will happen to them. I mean, as you can imagine, they must be wondering what is exactly going to happen to them. The students' names and addresses are taken before they're allowed to go.
From the president, you will get 5,000 rupees each. After that, the authorities will organize school, college, or even a madrasa better than the one you went to.
People living near the mosque look on anxiously. The curfew has meant that they can't leave their homes.
This is not Waziristan. This is not the tribal area. This is Islamabad. If this could happen here, I mean, I don't know, I just see things escalating somehow.
As night falls on the 3rd day of the siege of the Red Mosque, more troops move in. The authorities have now cut off electricity and gas in the curfew area. Near the mosque, the atmosphere is calm but expectant. The soldiers seem to be waiting for something.
Hello, I'm Imran Garja. More than 1,000 students in the Pakistani capital Islamabad have surrendered to troops, and their leader has been arrested after clashes that killed at least 16 people. But hundreds still remain inside the Lal Masjid or Red Mosque.
The morning news is that Maulana Ghazi's elder brother has been caught trying to leave the mosque with a group of women dressed in a burqa. How did you feel as a woman, that here's a sort of a Maulana, senior cleric, and said that he was, fighting for Islam, but then eventually coming out in a burqa?
Shameful. Shameful. You call yourself a mujahid and you're caught in a burqa.
I mean, mujahids would never be caught dead in a burqa.
Do you have plans to come out yourself? What is your own plans?
I'm not coming, and I said that whatever will be done, it will be all honorably done, because we are not terrorists or we are not dacoits or thieves.
And how many students are still with you in the madrasa?
About 2,000 total male and female, 2,000.
2,000. What about the children, especially, Maulana?
Very few children, very few children.
Did they leave already?
But there are very few, there are few children as well.
Okay, let's talk again in a couple of hours. Thank you, Maulana, thank you. The government forces are taking no chances. They fear the students leaving the mosque might be hiding suicide belts. As night falls, there is news. Well, in the last few minutes, the Maulana Abdul Rashid Ghazi from inside the Red Mosque and the madrasa has said that he and the remaining students are prepared to give themselves up unconditionally, which of course has been what the government has wanted all along throughout the day. So it seems that reality has come home to roost for the Maulana Abdul Rashid Ghazi and the students, and there's a lot of activity here now, and it seems that these reports that he's giving themselves up are about to come to fruition, and this may be the end of what has been a 4-day siege of the Red Mosque in the very heart of Islamabad. Day 6. His demands for free passage for himself, his followers and his family are rejected by the government. By now, the world's media have arrived to cover the siege. Over the next 2 days, students trickle out of the mosque, watched by parents, hoping against hope to see their children alive. But there are worrying rumours that women and children are being held hostage.
What are your plans? I've moved my family out yesterday. My mother, my sister, my niece. But today I think I might be moving out as well. The most frustrating thing and the most infuriating thing is, what about Islam? He's making a mockery of Islam. This is not Islam. And secondly, what about those kids? What did those kids do? Those students, those teachers? Yeah, if someone wants to have a fight, then come on, face the army then. Try it out.
Children have managed to escape from the madrasa.
I came out at night around evening prayers, through the broken wall, and then the police picked me up from there. Inside they had guns and everything, and they said whoever would leave would be shot. So that's why nobody's leaving. There were mujahideen there. I saw bombs and Kalashnikovs.
But the army build-up around the Red Mosque complex continues, and there are last-ditch negotiations to find a peaceful end to the siege. Pakistan's religious parties and former Prime Minister Chowdhury Sujat Hussain both attempt to negotiate with Ghazi, but without success. He was determined to fight on. On the 8th day of the siege of the Red Mosque, it seems that stalemate has been reached and the government has given up hope of a negotiated settlement. Military activity intensifies.
The final assault on the Lal Masjid started at about 4 o'clock in the morning local time. It's now 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's 10 hours. Throughout the morning, there have been comments by the chief military spokesman, Major General Wahid. He has said that it's been very, very tough fighting with strong resistance from inside the mosque of a hardcore group of militants with Abdul Rashid Ghazi in the basement of the building. And
I've just heard in the last few minutes that Abdul Rashid Ghazi is dead and that Omar Hassan and her daughter have been captured. And that's that.